I'm going to call the meeting to order at 6:01. Everyone has read the minutes of the last meeting.
Yeah.
Any corrections, deletions, additions?
No.
And they are accepted.
Aye.
Okay, Superintendent, Phase 6 update.
We just updated last week. It hasn't, we still they're doing all the pipe testing on Dean and Carter Hill. They're having some problems on Hill, I guess, like the other plans, its topography isn't matching. A lot of the manholes they were. I'm not sure what else is going on this week, just the pipe testing and.
Yeah, we're paving, we'll have Dean Street paved by the end of the week.
My question was, what about the building permit for the Dean Street, Alexander, and Justin Street pump stations?
That the architect is working on, I should have plans by, I'm hoping Saturday.
Okay, good.
We'll be able to get building permits shortly thereafter. But they've got the plumbing in, they're, got the layout, they're pouring the floors, so they know where they're going with that. Yeah, and they're ready to start as soon as we get them the plans, maybe they'll go. We had another 44 after Labor Day, and then they're looking at 6 weeks up there. That finish up on Hill Street, and we'll get the whole project done by the end of December, so we can better it out in January.
Modifying, I talked to them today, they're modifying the permit. As per our sidewalk, during our sidewalk, we made some changes.
Did you change the order?
No, it's, we made it a little easier, a little better, and pulled some of the work out of 44. We eliminated the crossing, and the crossing through 44, which was then costly and traffic intensive, and we actually pulled the force mains back on both sides of Church, back out of the 44 layout and down the street. The north side's pumping to the north, the south side's pumping to the south. So we just reconfigured it. Save some money.
Anything else, Joe?
No, I was out on Dean Street today. I walked down, I saw Bruce. They were doing the test, and the pump station on Judson Street, the plumber was working there, putting piping in, so they're making progress. I have had several calls about when. I had 2 from Judson Street, and I had 1 from Locust Street, and I told him that our hope was to have, excuse me, that section vetted by the end of the year so they could then plan on hooking up in the spring, because I don't think they want to hook up in the middle of December or January. And Bruce and Superintendent confirmed the fact that we should be done by the end of this year on that part of the construction, so that we'll be able to get the betterment out and people can start their plans and hooking up.
Okay. All right, the second item on the agenda tonight was the superintendent's contract. And Chris, pursuant to the terms of the contract, the board has to notify you within 90 days of December 28, 2014, whether it's going to be renewed or not. And I am going to make a motion at this time not to renew your contract.
After due consideration and with personal regrets, I'm going to second that motion.
Okay, a motion has been made and seconded. All in favor?
Mr. Chairman, point of order. Will there be discussion and allowing input from the public on that motion?
No, there will not.
Is this a scheduled public meeting, Mr.
This is
Chairman?
an open meeting, it's not a hearing.
And you're not going to allow input from the residents of this community on a motion of this importance?
No, we are not. This is.
What's your rationale for that? Will you come off with being able to tell us that we don't have a say?
You do have a say.
Well, you just told us we can't say nothing.
This is a personnel matter that should not be discussed in an open meeting.
Don't you mean personal?
This
It's
is an
an
open
meeting.
It's an open meeting.
That should not be discussed in an open meeting. You're going into somebody's personnel file that should not be discussed in an open meeting.
Mr. Chairman, once again, as a point of order, I'm not asking for a reason from you in my question. I'm asking if you're going to allow public input to speak on the
Are
matter.
you going to be the spokesperson for the?
No,
club?
sir, I'm Gordon Luciano, a resident of 259 Darrington Drive, and I would only speak on my behalf. And I'm curious as to whether you're gonna allow members of the public, including myself, to speak on this issue.
If I may, Mr. Chairman, the open meeting law requires that the meetings be open to the general public to watch the business of the board. It does not require that the board have conversations or input from the public unless it's through the permission of the chair.
Right.
And I concur with that, and in the town of Rainham, that's always been precedent. And that's what makes this community rise above other communities when it comes to issues of this matter, that we've always allowed for public input from the community. So we are transparent and open in all of the dealings that we do as boards.
Even though you're not required to hear what we have to say, aren't you interested?
I pretty much know what's gonna be said. Mr. Luciano, if you want to, I'll allow a few to speak, but we're not gonna hold up this meeting for the entire night to let everybody speak.
Why not?
So
Why
if you have
not?
something to
Hey,
say.
We're already here.
Why not?
We're all voters of this town, and we have a right to say what we want to say.
Well, I think you ought to go back to.
Don't forget that.
Don't forget it, election time's coming. We have a right to speak.
Sir, you can vote however you want. That is your privilege.
True statement.
And it is my right now not to allow any discussion, and that.
What is your rationale? What is your rationale? Were you coming off telling us that you don't have, you made a decision, you just told us your decision, but just say, you're not gonna tell us why you have this decision?
No, I am not.
What's your rationale?
I am not gonna make that known at an open meeting, because that deals with,
Were you afraid of us? You
No,
afraid of
I'm not
transparency?
afraid.
What transparency? What about transparency? Where is it?
the transparency is what we're doing right here.
No, it ain't. No, it ain't. Just saying we're not allowed to speak. You're not gonna tell us anything and we're not allowed to speak. And you call that transparency? Where you
Mr.
get
Chairman,
off?
what if the superintendent waives his right to privacy on that issue and allows for public comment?
I'm not gonna allow that.
What about are you the town
Yeah.
council?
I'm not gonna
Is
allow
he allowed to waive his right of privacy and
He may, but that would not change the position of, that would not require the chairman of the board to change his position. It's a public meeting, that meaning that it is open to the public, for the public to observe the process going on. It is not a public hearing. There are specific requirements for public hearings. This is not one of them.
when is
Secret
But
business, bad business.
if I may, when it comes down to it, when you say that you want input into this, your input is through the election process. You voted these three gentlemen to be the commissioners. The commissioners, the contract to which they're addressing tonight is between the commissioners and the superintendent. It's through that contract that this meeting and this motion is being made. That's for this commission to make its decision on that basis. As a basis of how you wish to express your dissatisfaction with that, that is at the polling place.
If I may, as a member of the legislature, which I am, the town of Rainham does not have representative form of government. Now, they may vote to have that sometime. And if that's the case, then the legislature would be represented by those people. As it is, everyone in this room, including you gentlemen, are members of the legislature. And so you have an open meeting, which the counselor is correct, you can make a judgment on whether we can speak or not. But the fact is, you really, quasi, are the executive branch. We are the legislative branch, and we believe we should have a say on situations that exist in the town of Rainham. We believe that's not a privilege, we believe that's a right. We have the right
Balance of
to
powers.
speak.
Well,
But if you say no, that's gonna be it, but I'm just painting it for
that is
the,
my decision, Mr. McKenna.
no, but I'm just saying it for the minutes, Mr.
Right. So-
For the minutes,
I-
let it be recorded that everyone in this room, a member of the legislature, has a right to speak at an open meeting.
Mr. Dolan, you're better than this. You really, you have a lifelong career in this community. You've been respected on numerous boards for many years. You're better than this. Don't do this tonight.
Well,
Allow for public input.
I will rest on my reputation, and we're gonna proceed with the vote. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
No.
All right. It is a
Thank you,
vote.
Joe.
May I ask a question?
Joe, good job, Joe. You'll get
Does-
All right.
What is the feeling of
job,
the selectmen in town of Rainham who oversee you people? What is their feeling?
I'm sure they have an opinion.
Do they have
I'm sure
do they have a
you
right to
know.
tell us what they feel? Do they? They're the
Mr.
selectmen, they're
Sharp,
your
do you have any
bosses.
other business to bring before
Oh,
the-
he's the selectman.
Yeah, he's a selectman. He's a selectman and they're a member.
Yes, but you have to understand, I'm here tonight not as a selectman, I'm here as a sewer commissioner.
Okay.
So I can only speak in that capacity.
So that's a conflict of
And
interest.
I don't wanna add much to what's been said, he's the chair. I just wanna say that if we got into a dialogue, we'd have to get very deep into this. And trust me, you don't really, it's not as easy as you think to get as deep into this as you would have to walk away and feel that all aspects, all avenues of this decision are going to be brought before you. I understand on a personal level what the feelings are. I share those feelings on a personal level. But I also have to tell you that this decision is made with due consideration for all factors for which, if we tried tonight to get into all of that, we'd be here tomorrow morning and we wouldn't be any further along. So I think the chairman's decision to say, look, let's truncate this because this is the decision of the board. The board has a lot of information and input, has done a lot of thinking about this, and I would hope sincerely that you have enough confidence and regard for the board to trust in this professional decision. I can't say any more than that.
Why wasn't it unanimous?
You haven't even expressed your reasons as a board as to why you're doing this.
Because it's already been stated that if we express our reasons as a board, we get into personal matters which are not our province to get into. This is not something that we're prepared to talk about, not legally, not professionally, not personally.
Why wasn't it unanimous?
Hold on a second. I'm the no vote.
Go ahead.
Now pay attention, okay? If you understand the difference between a union contract and a non-union contract, he is on a contract. And the contract is specific. He can leave by giving us notice. We can't hold him. If the board votes they do not want to renew his contract, you don't need to know why. It's their prerogative to say yes or no. You can assume anything you want. The unofficial thing is it's personal. You want to know why.
Yes.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, in a decision to do we want to continue or do we don't want to continue, when the decision is made and it's voted 2-1, it's made. They don't have to make an explanation. They don't have to explain to me why they said yes. I don't have to explain to them why I said no. The democracy sits at this table among ourselves. And hopefully, because we respect each other, we pay attention to trying to make sure that our points of view are put on the table for our decisions. Now, you could have 200 more people come in that would be on the other side of your opinion. And that wouldn't make the vote change from 2-1. The vote's been taken.
What's
It's
the
not
mechanism
that-
for a recall?
We're not having a dialogue, okay? If you understand open meeting laws as our counsel has told you, unless there's an item on the agenda that says public forum, you have an observer, that's all. We don't have to recognize our neighbor, our best friend, our brother, our sister, anybody. What the chairman did is exercise the right that's given to him under the open meeting law. So we don't go on forever and ever. This is an emotional problem for a lot of people, okay? But this board has the right to say, we do not want to extend your contract. And once they make that decision, they don't have to explain why. They can talk to him, but they don't have to explain to you why. That's not the way the legislature works. Now, my neighbor's got his hand up, and I'm not gonna recognize him, because the chairman has said there is no dialogue. We're talking about a statement, and in my point, I said no. I have to live with the board. Okay? Now, if I may just extend just a little longer, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead, you have the floor.
Okay. I'm formally going to ask our superintendent to give me a synopsis of his time as superintendent for the sewer department for the town of Rainham. I want the good, the bad, the ugly, the truth. Okay? If you did something wrong, don't be afraid to put it down and say, I did this and I shouldn't have done that. If you found something right, you put it down that it was right. I've only been on this board since April. I see things and I sense things need to change. It's not going to change overnight. I would venture that everybody there is against the three of us in favor of the superintendent. Nice guy, make mistakes, did things wrong. If anybody in this room has never fallen into that category, we got to put you on a pedestal because you're the only one on the face of the earth. We all make mistakes. We all do things we shouldn't do. We all do things wrong. But we learn from it, we move on. And that's what I'm asking Chris Gallagher to do for me. As a member of this committee, I'm asking you, and I have the right to ask. You can say, no, you won't do it, but I would love to have you give me a full synopsis of your time in writing, okay? And I have no objection of taking it public once he gives it to me.
If he so
How's that
desires.
get you?
If he so desires.
If he's willing to let me take it public, that's fine.
We'll put something together by the next meeting, show all the accomplishments. What could be perceived as shortfalls and what may be shortfalls.
Don't forget the money to put in that report.
I'm not gonna answer anybody with their hand up. I've had my say, and I'm gonna let the chairman
Do you
conduct
have
the
anything to
business.
add, Mr. Chairman?
No, but if we're gonna start a dialogue, it seems to me that if we're
I
gonna
don't
have,
think we should have it.
I mean, a written, I don't know how what council's reaction
Well,
to that is.
that's his prerogative.
That's his prerogative.
No, I
That's his
understand
prerogative.
that, no, I understand that.
We just gotta vote them out, is that what I heard?
Joe hasn't, Joe
Bye, guys.
hasn't been around.
Does anybody get to ask a question?
All right, do you have anything else to add, Jody? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Wait a second. A taxpayer's got his hands up. I pay your salaries. Can I ask a question?
We're not having any.
Mr.
dialogue
Bettencourt
tonight.
mentioned the word democracy. Democracy starts with transparency. You guys made a statement, then
We are very
you clammed
transparent.
up.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Let's have some transparency. If we're gonna have a democracy, let's have some
All in
transparency.
favor? Aye, okay. This meeting is adjourned.
Oh, wait till election time. Oh, nothing's gonna help them, because it's got to do with what's going on.